RimWorld is now available to play on console, and I've been spending some time getting to grips with it to find out if this PC strategy classic being brought to console is a big win or a big lose. Hey everybody, my name's Ben, we are the Beard Guys, and welcome to our RimWorld Console Edition review. All the gameplay footage that you're watching is from the console version of the game on the Xbox Series X that I've been playing for the last couple of days. If you've pre-ordered RimWorld with the Royalty DLC, then you'll be able to play the game right now, and for everybody else, it will be available to play on Friday the 29th of July from midnight your local time. I've been lucky enough to have a press copy and have an extra day or two early access, which has given me a bit of time to try and get the hang of what is a pretty complicated game. I've put hundreds of hours into the PC version of this sci-fi colony management sim over the many years it's been out, which takes you on a journey of building a base on an alien planet, surviving its hostile environment, and ultimately trying to escape off-world. That is, of course, unless you just get distracted by building a huge base and fighting seemingly impossible numbers of raiders. It can be a harsh and unforgiving single-player game with tons of random events and game mechanics that you need to slowly learn as you attempt playthroughs again and again until it all goes wrong. There's loads of great guides for beginners out there already, but it's also a fun game to learn by doing and by failing, and a lot of the fun comes from the completely unexpected things that happen whilst your characters try their best to survive whilst not driving each other crazy. Your characters will all have individual skills and characteristics as well as emotional needs and relationships with each other, and you'll have to manage these effectively to try and survive. The console version of RimWorld seems to offer pretty much all the features of the PC version, though as yet there's no indication of there being any mod support. Even without mods though, there is an incredible amount of things to do and learn in this game, with the UI being completely rebuilt from the ground up to allow this micromanagement heavy game to be playable on a controller. There is no mouse and keyboard support, so a controller is what you will be using, and the interface does the job impressively well. RimWorld is a game I thought we would never see on console, mostly due to how difficult I thought it would be to make it work on a controller, but the devs have done a fantastic job. Whilst it might look a bit overwhelming on screen if you've not tried it, I found that within 3 or 4 hours of gameplay, I was getting pretty used to all the usual aspects of colony management that I was familiar with from PC. You can follow all the same steps as on PC in starting a game by choosing your scenario, your pawns, your storyteller, and difficulty settings, and also your starting location and map size. Map size is restricted to 250 by 250 maximum, which isn't too bad considering the max on PC is only 325 and the max recommended on PC is actually only 275. One disappointment with game creation was the lack of an option to create a custom start, which is something I really like doing on PC, and hopefully this will be a feature the devs add in at a later date. What this feature basically allows you to do on PC is manually configure how many pawns you start with, what items you have, and also which random events are turned on or off, as well as their frequency. Other than that though, the game start felt very familiar to the PC version, with all the clunky old menus updated and modernized to work nicely on a controller. Once you've chosen your starting setup and jumped in, the flow is exactly as you expect to see from the original version of the game. You can adjust the game speed and pause, you start building your base, and you assign your pawns priorities and work patterns. Most of the intricate features from PC seem to be there, including the manual configuration of work priorities and sleep schedules, clothing and medical choices, caravans and world travel, and all the intricacies of cooking, crafting, and building, even down to the fine details of specifying what materials to use and minimum crafting skill required. The only thing I'd noticed so far that wasn't available was when choosing clothing restrictions, it wouldn't let me choose clothing quality or durability to let me stop my pawns putting on rubbish old clothes. But given that these options are available when choosing to scrap something in the smelter, it seems that this is likely a bug that will be fixed rather than something deliberately not added. The only other thing that I flagged during my playthrough that I felt I would have liked to have was the ability to zoom out a little bit further on the map, as I felt even the furthest zoom was still quite close in. Although in fairness, even on PC, it still doesn't let you zoom out all the way. Performance-wise on the Xbox Series X, the game felt great and I didn't see any issues during my 4 or 5 hours of playtime. I haven't been able to build up a huge colony in that time, but I doubt that it would stress the next-gen consoles much anyway. It'll be interesting to see how the old Xbox One and and PS4 handle huge late game raids, but certainly my experience on the Series X was good. Much like Double 11 did with Rust Console, the game has been built for Xbox One and PS4 rather than being designed for the Series X or S or the PS5. What this means is that hopefully the game should work surprisingly well on these ancient consoles, and if Double 11 continues to update the game, then it leaves lots of room for further optimizations and improvements on the next gen consoles, as they likely aren't being pushed very hard to run this game. RimWorld Console Edition also has the Royalty DLC available, which adds in a load of other features for you to play around with, and it's well worth grabbing if you have the extra cash. Personally, I had it turned off during this initial test as I hadn't played RimWorld for a couple of years, and there was already so much that I needed to remember and relearn that Royalty felt a bit overwhelming for my first time back. RimWorld on PC also has another DLC called Ideology that adds lots of new features into the game, and the devs for the console version actually specified that this DLC wasn't released when this game began development for console, and it is something they intend on adding in the future. That said, when RimWorld first came out on PC, I played it for absolutely ages, long before Royalty ever came out and long before I ever even tried any mods. So what the game currently has to offer on console is more than enough to get your teeth stuck into. One of the huge benefits of the console version being so similar in game mechanics to PC is that the huge wealth of tips, tutorials and guides on YouTube and wikis and other online resources are still going to be valid for you. Even as someone who's put hundreds of hours on RimWorld on PC, there are still tons I don't know, and I still make stupid mistakes every time I go back to it. So to have all these resources available for new players now on console is gonna be a massive help. If you already play RimWorld on PC and don't have any desire to sit on your sofa playing it on the TV, then this isn't designed for you. But if you do like the idea of sitting back and playing some RimWorld away from your desk, or if you're a new console player who enjoys addictive strategy games full of challenges and micromanagement, then RimWorld Console Edition will definitely appeal to you. RimWorld is one of those games where you say, I'll just finish doing this one little thing, and the next thing you know, you've been playing for 7 hours, which in my books is the sign of a truly great game. I'm going to be working on some tips and guides specifically for the console version of RimWorld, so if you'd like to be among the first to see those, then make sure you subscribe to the channel. As I mentioned before, there are a ton of fantastic videos already on YouTube from lots of other creators that will help you on your journey, so do go and check those out as well. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on the console version of RimWorld and whether you think you'll be grabbing it for yourself or not. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Ben, we are the Beard Guys, and I'll see you next time.